Hi everyone, today we're looking at 8.2. We're talking about properties of parallelograms. Your essential question says, what are the relationships between the sides, angles, and diagonals of a parallelogram? A parallelogram is a quadrilateral, which means it has four sides, with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. So that just means that these two sides run in the same direction. They never actually cross each other. And then these two sides never cross each other. And my red ones go with that first statement, PQ is parallel to RS. Again, if they have those little triangles on them, I know they're parallel. And my other one, they have two triangles because they're like parallel to each other, but not the other side. And that's that statement here. All right, we're going to talk about three properties today. The first one is that opposite sides are congruent. Remember, congruent means they're the same size. So I know that QP is congruent to RS. That's another way of saying they're equal. I also know that QR is congruent to PS. For your examples for these ones, you have to solve for x in your parallelogram. You'll be given a pair of parallel sides, which again means they're congruent. So I know FG is congruent to EH, but that also tells me that those two things are equal to each other. So I know FG is 23, and that's going to be equal to 2x plus 3. Now, once you've set your two sides equal, you just have to solve for x like we've been doing all year. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 3 from both sides. When I do that, I get 20 equals 2x. And then I have to get rid of that 2. So we'll divide both sides by 2, and we get x equals 10. And that should be your final answer. Now, I know this side is 23, so this one should also be 2. If you want, you can plug x back in. So you could do 2 times 10 plus 3. And double check your work. 2 times 10 gives me 20, plus 3 gives me 23. So that's my final answer, x plus 10. All right, my next property is that opposite angles are also congruent, so they're the same. And the opposite ones are the ones across from each other. So I know Q and S are congruent. Angle Q is congruent to angle S. I also know that P and R are congruent, so angle P is congruent to angle R. This one's a lot like the last one. We're going to go ahead and set our angles across from each other equal to each other. So in my picture, I notice we're given V and we're given X. I know angle V is congruent to angle X. And that means that 14x plus 9 equals 15x. Again, we're just trying to solve for x from here, so we want to move all of our x's to the same side. So I'm going to subtract 14x from both sides. And then I get 9 equals 15 minus 14 gives me 1x, or just x by itself. And this would be my final answer, 9 equals x. Again, like before, you can go ahead and plug in your answers and check your work if you'd like to. All right, we're talking about our third parallelogram property. This one says my diagonals bisect each other. That means that they cut each other in half. So these two sections, MP is going to be congruent to RM. And then these two, QM, is going to be congruent to SM. Again, you can set either side equal to each other. So for my picture, they tell me that TE is, this one's 4 plus 2x. And they tell me that EV, we'll maybe make that one red, is 4x minus 4. Again, these two bisect each other, so I know that they're congruent to each other. So I know that TE equals EV. And I know TE is 4x plus 2, or sorry, 4 plus 2x. And it equals EV, which is 4x minus 4. Again, from here, I'm going to solve for x, so I want to move all my x's to one side. So we'll subtract 2x from both sides. We get 4 equals 2x minus 4. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so I have some room. Then we want to move that -4 to the other side, so we're going to go +4, +4. We get 8 equals 2x. And then I have to get rid of that 2 in front of my x, so we'll divide by 2, and we'll divide by 2. And that tells me that x equals 8 divided by 2, which is 4. Again, you could plug in your 4 and it would give you your final answer. All right, thank you for watching. Good luck on your homework, and as always, please reach out to your teacher if you have any questions.